Shalom to everyone. My name is Rabbi Howard Wolk. I'm the community chaplain with Jewish Family Service of Dallas, and I have the pleasure of working with Faith Presbyterian Hospice. And they asked me to share a few thoughts with you. I hope this finds all of you well. And today it's a fall day, at least starting off that way, and hope we all enjoy the cooler weather. We just completed the Jewish high holidays, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and the festival of Sukkot, the holiday of the Tabernacles. And with the conclusion of the holidays, we return to literally the beginning. In weekly synagogue service, we begin reading from the start of the Torah, from the 5 books of Moses, from the Holy Scrolls. And we just read a few days ago the portion of Genesis, which talks, of course, about creation story, God creating the world, God creating what we call natural law, scientific law, and his creation reaches its crescendo with the creation of Adam and Eve. It's interesting, in chapter 1 in Genesis, the Torah, the Bible, uses exclusively the name God, in Hebrew, Elohim, which means God's attribute of law, of justice. And as I said, God, the Creator, is laying down what we call natural or scientific law. In the book of Exodus, as an introduction to the 10 Commandments, the verse says, "And God spoke all these words, saying." The 10 Commandments, of course, represent the foundation, the basis for ethical and moral law. But likewise, they are introduced by the name Elohim, God's attribute of law of justice. So the Torah speaks to us about God in 2 different ways: God of creation, the author of natural law, and God, the creator of moral or ethical law. And just like someone cannot suspend God's natural law, for example, the law of gravity, to suspend that, you have to go to outer space. You have to go to one of those special rooms where the astronauts practice weightlessness. But in our normal natural world, you cannot suspend the law of gravity, for example. If a person says, "I'm not a believer in the law of gravity," and with that he jumps out the window of the 40th floor of a hotel, well, when he hits the pavement, he becomes a firm believer in the law of gravity. Similarly, God uses the word Elohim, the God of justice, of law, to introduce the 10 Commandments. So, for example, the commandment of thou shalt not murder. There's never a situation in which one is permitted to murder. Sometimes killing is mandated. Sometimes killing is required to save a life in a time of war. The Bible recognizes that sometimes people have to kill one another in order to save their native population. But there's never a situation in which a person is allowed to murder. And I'm choosing my words very carefully. The Talmud, which is the corpus of Jewish thought, Jewish law, Jewish tradition, gives a case of kill or be killed. Someone says to a person, either you kill the fellow across the street or I will kill you. Now, you can certainly kill the fellow who is threatening you, the fellow holding the gun. But if there's no other choice, the rabbis explain you have to be killed rather than kill the innocent third party who's across the street. And the rabbis use a very beautiful expression. They say, who told you your blood is redder than his? Meaning you cannot make the determination that your life is more precious than the innocent bystander across the street. So if there's no other choice, The rabbis tell us you have to be killed rather than commit murder. That's how important human life is. So God speaks to us, so to speak, in different ways. In Genesis, He's the God, the creator of our world, the creator of the universe. In any kind of scientific, medical, technological advance that improves the life of human beings is a fulfillment of God's directive to us to go out and conquer the elements of nature. But we're also commanded to be ethical and moral beings, and that applies in every kind of situation. So God speaks to us as the God of creation, the God of ethics and morality, and thereby hopefully imbues in all of us an appreciation for our fellow human beings and our appreciation and awe of God Himself. Shalom, thank you for your attention, and have a wonderful day.